honored yet again to participate in this great platform that brings together both local and regional stakeholders to deliberate on Pan-African ideas that will contribute to shaping the agenda that will enable Africa become a leading player across a broad range of endeavors. Let me also extend the greetings and warm wishes of the Council of Governors to all participants in this festival. The theme of this year's festival allows us to reflect on the recently concluded COP27 and avails an opportunity to explore African responses and solutions to climate change. Climate change is real, and it continues to affect our day-to-day lives. This is showcased by an increase in frequency and severity of disasters such as droughts, floods, landslides, and the influx of diseases and pests. In addition, the extraordinary and interrelated crisis of biodiversity loss, climate change, land degradation, and desertification, ocean degradation, and pollution continue to negatively impact our communities. Climate change is now one of the leading global agenda. Further, a report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, indicates that Africa is highly vulnerable and adversely impacted by climate change. The need to put up requisite climate action measures is therefore inevitable. Ladies and gentlemen, in view of the aforementioned effects of climate change, and in line with the SDG 13, allow me to highlight some of the interventions put in place locally by the county governments in Kenya. 44 county governments have established county climate change funds through enacting requisite climate change legislations. We all have proposed and passed the climate change bills at the county level so that we're able to implement at the subnational level. We have prioritized allocation of resources intended to finance mitigation and adaptation activities from our county budgets, estimated between 1 and 3% of the county development funds. 45 county governments have established what we call the climate change units within the administration, the executive administration. 47 county governments have designated county executive committee members who are the ministers at the county level in charge of climate change. And 30 counties have already been able to establish what we call the ward climate change planning committees that engage the communities at the local level. Ladies and gentlemen, county governments are in the front line in the implementation of the critical function on environment, climate change, natural resource management, as well as forestry, soil, and water conservation. In light of this, allow me to highlight key takeaways from the 27th Conference of Parties, COP27, that underpin the much-needed involvement of national governments, county governments, and all stakeholders towards enhancing adaptation and mitigation. A post-COP27 roadmap of action to cascade the discussions and outcomes of the COP to county governments and communities is needed. And this is a good place to start today. A framework to regulate the carbon trade and ensure communities who are in the front line of conservation benefit from the proceeds of carbon credits should be developed. Collaboration between both levels of government and stakeholders in accelerating restoration of forests and rangelands in line with a special presidential program is also needed. There is a need to follow through the discussions on the operationalization of the financing instrument to support loss and damage accruing from climate change impacts to countries worst hit by climate change. And this was one of the most difficult things that we had to push at COP27. The need to provide improved funding for implementation of gender action plans for developing countries. There is a gap in gender responsiveness of climate finance, which should strengthen the capacity of women and further work under the Gender Action Plan in order to facilitate access to climate finance for vulnerable groups, including indigenous peoples and local communities. Ladies and gentlemen, in light of all interventions adopted by county governments to confront climate change, it is evidence that counties are constrained in terms of financial and human capacity to address the overwhelming challenges we face every day from climate change. I therefore take this opportunity to call upon all partners in this platform to collaborate with county governments to make Kenya's mitigation and adaptation goals a reality. I also urge other media institutions to use their platforms to amplify the good stories of climate action from various regions that can be replicated both locally and regionally for the betterment of our people and the generations to come. In this regard, I would like to draw your attention to the Council of Governors Maarifa Center, an online platform that is a repository of best practices collected from county governments in Kenya. It offers an array of interventions put in place by county governments in combating climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to emphasize that as various stakeholders in the different spaces and regions, there is need to act to ensure we safeguard our livelihoods. It is my hope that this platform offered by the Kusi Festival will offer pertinent solutions to the vulnerable situations facing the African continent. Let me conclude by thanking the Nation Media Group for being a pace-setter in various issues in the media arena. The Kusi Festival continues to be an engaging platform for Pan-African discussion. Congratulations, and we hope to continue with this good initiative. In this regard, I wish now to wish all participants fruitful and insightful discussions for the next 2 days. I thank you all.